Ukrainian troops in Bakhmut are facing a difficult and painful situation, President Zelensky says, as the battle for the city rages on.
Tensions are high on the Serbia-Kosovo border as Belgrade has placed its security troops on the full state of combat readiness. A blizzard that has rocked through the U.S. and killed at least 28 people in western New York alone is not over, according to the state's governor.
Hundreds attend a silent march in Paris to honor the 3 Kurds shot dead on Friday as prosecutors charge the suspect.
As fierce fighting continues around the city of Bakhmut, Ukraine's frontline troops receive treatment at a local hospital. They've been battling for weeks to defend the city from Russian forces, hoping to seize the area and consolidate their grip on Ukraine's east. In his nightly address on Monday, President Zelensky praised his soldiers for holding the line. Bakhmut, Crimea and other areas in the Donbass now require maximum strength and concentration. The situation there is difficult, painful. The occupiers are using all the resources available to them and their significant resources to squeeze out at least some advance. Zelensky also said that ongoing electricity blackouts are affecting some 9 million people across the country, but the number and duration of outages are gradually decreasing. In Kyiv, people are gathering supplies to send to Kherson. The city was liberated last month, but continues to be the target of intense Russian shelling. We're freezing in Kyiv too, this man says. There's no electricity, but there are people facing worse conditions than us. As the conflict in Ukraine enters its 11th month, more and more businesses in Russia and illegally annexed Crimea are reorienting their production to meet the needs of the Russian army.
The Ukrainian army is showing off its shiny new artillery pieces, such as these French-made Caesar howitzers, already on the front line. In recent months, Ukraine has taken deliveries of more than 200 heavy artillery systems from the US and its NATO allies. Meanwhile, Ukraine's foreign secretary says that Kyiv aims to hold a peace summit by February next year, preferably at the UN, with Secretary General Antonio Guterres as a possible mediator. In other developments, Russia's military has reported that it shot down a Ukrainian drone approaching an airbase deep inside Russia on Monday, the second time the facility has been targeted this month. Debris killed 3 servicemen at the Engels airbase, according to authorities. In an attempt to cement his military gains, President Vladimir Putin has approved the granting of passports to those in 4 partially occupied Ukrainian regions, illegally annexed by Moscow this year. Along with current military drills being held in Belarus, it's led to fears that the conflict could yet again get hotter this winter, despite the war going on for nearly a year now.
Tensions have escalated on the Serbian-Kosovo border as Belgrade's forces have been put on high alert. Serbia has also placed its police and other security units under the command of its army chief. There are mounting fears about the worsening relationship between the neighbors, as shootings, explosions, and roadblocks have all been reported over the past couple of weeks. I wish to inform you that we are indeed in a difficult situation, but we will give our utmost. We will care about preserving peace and stability, and not only that, we care about protecting our people in the north of Kosovo and Metohija. After Kosovo, Albanians have been armed and raised their combat readiness. I will take all measures necessary to protect our nation, to protect Serbia. NATO and other members of the international community have called for the Balkan foes to avoid sparking more violence, as the alliance investigates a shooting over the weekend near its patrolling troops. The incident took place close to where ethnic Serbs in northern Kosovo have been creating roadblocks over the arrest of a former police officer suspected of terrorism. The relationship between the two countries has been on edge since November, when many members of Kosovo's ethnic Serb community walked out of their jobs in protest of a policy preventing them from using Serbian-issued license plates. Serbia does not recognize Kosovo's independence, leaving the issue a potential flashpoint of violence at a time when many other long-standing regional conflicts seem to be on the verge of erupting.
The moment a man alleged to be responsible for the death of 3 people outside a Kurdish community centre in Paris last Friday entered a nearby barbershop. There, the 69-year-old Frenchman was overpowered by people before being detained by the police. He was charged on Monday with murder and attempted murder on the grounds of race, ethnicity, nation or religion, as well as unauthorized acquisition and possession of weapons. Elsewhere in Paris, members of France's Kurdish community and others held a silent march in memory of the victims. They're shocked and infuriated by the attack, which some Kurdish activists believe was politically driven. The French authorities, however, see the attack as an isolated incident.
I don't believe it was a deranged person. I think it was planned and directed against Kurds. Many elements suggest so. He was in prison, and 10 days later he has a weapon and knew at what time and where to go.
Some of the marchers carried flags of the banned Kurdistan Workers' Party, while others have suggested that Turkey was linked to the shooting. Ankara has summoned France's ambassador over what it described as black propaganda by Kurdish activists since the incident.
What has been dubbed North America's worst storm in a lifetime is not over, with some 23 centimeters of snow predicted to fall in the region on Tuesday. At least 28 people have died in western New York alone since the blizzard began over the Christmas weekend. Many of those who died in Buffalo were found in their homes, snowbanks, and cars. Some people were stranded in their cars in the freezing temperature for more than 2 days. At least 50 people have died across the nation. This extreme weather, including severe cold, has gripped the United States over the past couple of days, causing power outages and travel delays.
So anyone who declares victory and says it's over, it is way too early to say this is at its completion of maybe the severity is downplaying now, and right now it's not as bad as it had been over the last couple of days, but it is still a dangerous situation to be out.
More than 15,000 flights were canceled over the past couple of days, including more than 2,700 on Monday alone. The travel delays forced thousands of people to wait at airports to rebook their tickets or to search for their stacked luggage. The United Nations top official in Kabul has met with a Taliban minister after the government banned women from working with NGOs, a move that further restricts the rights of women in the country. A number of major international aid organizations have since suspended their operations in Afghanistan. Millions of people could now face food shortages and go without education, healthcare, and other critical services. As the organizations argue, they cannot work in the country without their female staff.
We call on the Taliban authorities to reverse this decision as soon as possible. This comes at the worst possible time when the economy of Afghanistan is collapsing, and we need women as part of the workforce to enable the economy to recover.
The ban was imposed because some female NGO employees were allegedly not wearing the hijab correctly, and it follows a similar ban last week on women from accessing university education. Save the Children, the International Rescue Committee, the Norwegian Refugee Council, and CARE have all stopped their work in Afghanistan, and Islamic Relief is now only providing life-saving health care. The country's capital, Kabul, has seen an increase in tensions over the past couple of days, as more checkpoints, armored vehicles, Taliban special forces, and armed officers are seen on its streets.
China's military has sent 7 ships and more than 70 planes towards Taiwan in a major display of force directed at the self-ruled island. Early on Sunday and Monday mornings, Chinese aircraft, including fighter jets and drones, crossed the median of the Taiwan Strait, a violation of an unofficial boundary tacitly accepted by both Beijing and Taipei. China says it's a response to what it called US-Taiwan escalation and provocation.